What I'm going to do now is fit the chimney. It's at a very early stage, but it's crucial in the sequence as far as I'm concerned, because what you get very often in cast kits are plugged chimneys. Now, if you look there, it must be something to do with the casting process. I just wish manufacturers, and in fairness, this is not just true of DJH, it's true of many of them, would give us hollow chimneys. That's certainly not hollow. Now, you do get two chimneys depending on the period. This is the lipped chimney, which I'm going to model Bronzino as fitted because I'm modelling her late 50s, or the rimmed chimney, the stovepipe style chimney. Now, that's more or less the way they come, with a feed nib and flash quite prominent. That is not difficult to get off. It's really just a question of picking away at it the way I have done here. Now, I've already drilled the hole. You get a sort of dimple like that, which is more or less in the right place. But just to give me some adjustment, I have drilled the hole larger than I need. So that, in fact, will wiggle around. That's probably a little bit too large. But very often, if you have the fit perfect, a snug fit, the chimney is at a jaunty angle. Now, how do we check whether it's in exactly the right position? Well, here I've got an isinglass drawing drawn by John Edgson. They are the best drawings, certainly for LNER locomotives, I know of. They're very accurate, and they're dead scale 4mm to the foot. So using a pair of spring dividers, I'm going to check the position of the lip, the front part of the chimney, to the front of the smoke box. You can do it to the side elevation or off the plan. It really doesn't matter, both are the same. Once you're happy with that, you then scribe a line. Engineers would use what are called Jenny calipers, odd leg calipers, but these are just as good. Don't worry if that appears to be quite a mark. In fact, all you're doing is very, very minutely marking the surface. That will come away with the fiberglass brush. And that will give me the front edge position of the chimney. Now, as you see there, it's a little bit forward. So all I do is get mouse tail file and tease away at the back edge of this. It'll allow me to move the chimney back just a tiny bit so that it's in the right position. We go. Now, this is the tricky bit. I'm going to solder this on. A lot of people glue chimneys, and I have in the past, but if we're going to drill this chimney, then adhesive won't hold. I found to my cost it tears off, and then you gouge the side of the smoke box, and it's awful. But we've got to make dead sure that that goes on right in the center. So I'm going to check this by eye. That looks about right. Force it hard up against that position I've made, and then introduce solder from the inside. Don't try and solder from the outside. You'll just make the most horrendous mess. Again, just touch it with the solder. There we are. Let's check that. Looks about dead true. So what we do now is we have to go back to our original soldering joint. We can't do anything else. Is to completely flood that now with solder. Flux and solder. And hope it comes through. Don't worry too much if the solder goes right the way through. It won't always do that. You can always introduce super glue from the outside, not to act as a bond, just to act as a filler. It does get warm, but you can't go to another place. This is all you have. The trick is to just sort of do it a little bit at a time. Now, whatever you do, don't try and drill the chimneys in one go. Use a pincher to begin with, estimate dead center, and drill all the way through. that will give you a pilot hole. Don't try and do this too quickly because these bits will break. And it's very useful to use spit as a lubricant. There's nothing nice about this, but spit is a very good lubricant. And you go through. Start the next one off. More spit. Wipe your finger, by the way, between operations, otherwise you end up ingesting this metal, which is lead-based, cadmium, bismuth, antimony, all sorts of nasty things. I'm told they shorten your life, but just be sensible, really. I mean, don't go licking your finger when you've just had it in solder or something like that. And then use a mini drill. It might be better to have it in position first. And there we go. Now that clearly isn't anywhere near the right size. So using these taper broaches, Chestos these are, very, very good tool suppliers, we can start to take out. Now this is crucial that you just do this stage by stage, taking out a little bit at a time, enlarging each one. Now if the chimney were merely stuck on, all that would happen is that it would shear. It would slip and you would gouge the sides of the smoke box. And all one does is keep on using successive broaches, copious amounts of spit, and it just takes quite a time. Don't try and do this in one go with a drill. It will not work. All that will happen is it will shear. We're almost there. Both chimneys have been opened up now, both ports, and we're finishing off with the largest of the taper broaches, just very gently. This doesn't have to go all the way through because it will be too large a diameter. It is a taper broach, remember, so it's wider at that end than it is at the other. And just take that last little bit out. It takes a long time, this, and I don't really know a much quicker way, not while you safeguard the integrity of the model, but I hope you can see now we've got both ports opened up. The line that we scribed on the smoke box has disappeared. It really was nothing more than a small surface scratch. That's on securely, it won't come off. I've dropped the screw out yet again to allow me to put the broaches through. I'll tighten that up now. In a way, it's only temporary because by the time the outside steam pipes are fixed on and any of the other detail, that will then be securely attached to the saddle. You notice other bits. The ejector pipe is made of brass, that's just soldered in place. Again, it has to be done at certain stages. If that were not done before the smoke deflector goes on, you wouldn't be able to fit it in. It's really just a question of predicting which bit goes in which order. Vital that you get the chimney on at this stage there. It's vital you do that kind of high risk work, and that's in a way what it is, before too much detail is on, hence the need to put the cab roof on to protect the various bits as you grip it. But already now, in the way that the 61XX was showing us, that's beginning to look much more like a working steam locomotive.